in the state of California, are we really doing our best to draw in that younger generation to actually bring them back home with comradeship?
Are you sure you want me to answer that question?
I would love for you to answer that question.
The VFW motto, no one does more. That is not even remotely true. California had, at the max, we had 110,000 members. Today we're at 40,000. And they brag about it.
Welcome in, Ed.
Thank you. It's been an honor and a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. When we first met, I'll be quite honest with you. I was struggling on whether or not I wanted to take on this task of being the commander of California. And sitting down with you, I think we sat down for about an hour and a half, and just listening to you, you inspired me to push forward. And I wanted this opportunity for us to have even more dialogue. Me for one, to get to know who you are as a human, where you grew up and how you joined the military, how you end up joining the VFW, all these things. I would love to know more about you in this setting, and just to understand what motivates you, right? As you to even come in here and to talk to me.
Well, again, good morning. It's an honor and a pleasure. Mm-hmm. This is all new to me. This setting, I'm from an era that had rotary phones. I was raised in South Dakota. We have a significantly large cattle ranch now. We didn't before. And after high school, I worked as a carpenter. And when the housing market, the economy struggled, so did everything else. We lost the construction company, the people I worked for. And with that, I had to make a decision. I had a new car and I was making the payments, but it was hard when you're working for $2.90 an hour to make a $160 car note. So I sold my car to my best friend. I had $400 in his car. I left on a Friday night, late Friday afternoon, headed west till I got to Orange County, parked at a 76 service station, fell asleep, and I lived in my car for 2 years until I joined the Navy in 1982.
Wow. Tell me more about that experience, living in your car.
I liked it, to be quite honest. I didn't need anybody. At that time, I was distant from my parents, which I come to regret, especially from my dad. And I never told them. They still don't know.
Wow.
And I was parked into this little strip mall where there was a machine shop.
Yeah.
And I was getting up one morning, getting my face cleaned up and that, and he walked out. Richard was his name. He asked me if I wanted a job, and I said, sure. He says, you know anything about machining? And I said, I know what deburring tools and that are. He says, great, because I need a guy that deburr. So we started. End of the shift, he says, where do you live? I says, in that 74 Malibu. And he laughed. He says, no, where do you live? I said, I just said.
Right.
He says, not anymore. You're staying in the shop. They had a bedroom, shower, and all that. And I did that. And then I knew he was struggling, and paying me was a big expense, or through my mind. And I had enough smart to say thank you. And I'd already signed up to get in. I had to do a 4-month delay because everybody was joining the service. I got in on August 26, 1982. I did my 4 years. I was on the destroyer Fife DD-991. We did excursions, lived in the Persian Gulf on my second deployment for 258 days. And then we went into the Red Sea. And in 1983, the people in Lebanon didn't care for our Marines, and they drove a U-Haul type tractor truck into the barracks area, which was an apartment complex, blew it up. Traffic came in. I was a radioman. We saw that we were going to have to provide escort for the Shasta, USS Shasta, and provide security for Tarawa. And we followed them through. Our operations officer, Paul Salerni, SEAL member, and this guy was cut. He didn't have a neck. He just had, his neck really was from his earlobes to his shoulders. He would stay up weeks at a time just eating raw chicken liver and beef liver. He was out there.
Yeah.
But he needed an ops tour in order to move.
Right.
Okay, we go ashore, provide UN cover. We're wearing the UN colors. Now known as the Hezbollah, we're taking pot shots at our fallen comrades, our fallen service members. Salerni yelled at me, "Mac, get that radio off, crack that 60. And I cracked it. Radio chatter come over, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Salerni shot the radio right on my back. And the radio, he says, "You fire until I say stop."
Wow.
I had no problem. We get done. We get the Marines off. We meet the colonel. He thanked us. At that point, we were put in cuffs and sent over to the USS Ranger, put in the brig, told our fate, told me I was going to look at 25 plus in Leavenworth. They asked me if I knew anything about Leavenworth, and I said yes. I said, "It's in Kansas." I said, "I've been there." Then AP and UPI found out about it. How, I don't know. They were flown out. They met with us in the brig. They wanted to know if they could contact my parents, and I said no. The world didn't know about this. This was not world news.
Right.
So during that time we were there, we were hooded. We'd go to the mess deck when no one was there. They'd take it off, uncuff us, but still have us chained, hobbled, so to speak. We ate and then went back. They asked, the Navy said, "If you turn in Paul Salerni, we'll let you go." I said, "I'm not doing it. Won't do it." What we did was right. At that point, my military career was sealed. I was not going to make E7. I love the Navy.
Yeah.
Still do to this day. But I wasn't going to advance far.
Yeah.
I was all about advancement. I thoroughly loved the military and the Navy. So that was already made up for me. Do my tour. We're out in the Indian Ocean. Hot day. Water clear as this table. We've been following this Soviet destroyer for weeks. Well, it decided it wanted to get closer. It rubbed us. Wild Bill Ulrich, what a captain. Come flying off that bridge, grabbed the security watch, roving watch, grabbed his pistol and 14 and started firing.
Up the side of the ship.
Gets back up on the bridge, telling radio, "Get a hold of who we had to get a hold of. They fired. They rubbed us. We want to fire." He had the 8-inch on him. He wanted to blow him out of the water. But they wouldn't let him. Those were the type guys. And then the last captain we had was another great captain. And I didn't get to serve with him much, but he was good. And I enjoyed it. I got out in August 26th of 1986.
So obviously cleared of all charges as you were released from the brig.
They let that all go. But in the meantime, I had started working in the shipyard.
Yeah.
Well, I was a radioman. We were well above the main deck. Well, for the last 44 years, I've been nothing basically below the main deck.
Right.
And I'm currently working at ComNev Surfpack.
As a GS?
No, I'm a contractor.
Contractor.
And this is the tail end of my career. I've closed the loop. I've came up as a fire watch. Made journeyman, made foreman, general foreman, project manager, program manager,
Wow.
department head.
Through the company you work for now?
No.
Oh, in the Navy.
This is throughout my
Career.
employment, my civilian life.
Yeah.
Ran topside work for HII Newport News. I was the lead superintendent for the carriers. And when my contract ended, I could have stuck around, but there was no work at the time. And I went to a company that wrote work specs. I did that. And I got a job in Rhode Island at a private shipyard. And that was an experience. I love Rhode Island. It was great.
Yeah.
But they closed down the facility. It was in an old World War II air base where the main shop was. The repair facilities was at an old carrier pier at the end of the block. Well, we weren't supposed to be driving cranes, and our repair people drove a crane out there and busted the front wheels in. So we had to get it out, and then that ended that. I had just had a call on June 26th of 2025 from the current contractor I'm working for, asked me if I wanted a job. I said, yeah. He said, when can you start? I told him Monday. That was at 4:30. Friday, I was laid off, and the 29th of June, I was in our home in Tijuana, Mexico, and where I'm at today.
Yeah. When do you... Well, one, I want to acknowledge your career and the things that you've been through, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I mean, I think sometimes we really don't know until we peel back the onion on what someone has experienced, and from the outside, be like, oh, you just served some time in the Navy, but you have a lot of, you did a lot, you experienced a lot, and you were put in a position to have to make a decision. Obviously, you're someone above you was there, but you were ultimately the one that had to pull the trigger.
I have no qualm with that. Yeah. I still to this day.
Because it was
I'll
the right
argue
thing.
Against anybody that said otherwise.
Because why?
I'm not going to allow my internal drive and my internal being is not going to allow someone to take advantage or do something to a fellow citizen first, let alone a service member. I won't allow it. It's not in my DNA makeup. And there was no issue. I had no problem cracking the 60.
Yeah.
I'd do it again if they say go over there. I probably couldn't carry it now, but
it's all right. Me too.
But I'd let her rip.
Well, but it goes to who you are, the nature of who you are as a person, and really that's the bigger conversation that we get to have here. Because what we're facing, even in our own community of the VFW, right? You're standing kind of against that. But before we get into that, let's talk about what drew you to the VFW.
Well, this will be a unique type story. Softball.
Softball. All right.
My sister-in-law's boyfriend, husband said, hey, our VFW needs a softball player. He says, I know you played ball a little bit. Would you like to do it? And I said, sure. So they said the game was here, so I didn't know any.
When was this?
This was in 1994.
Okay.
So my mother-in-law, we was over in 32nd Street there on the dry side, went in. I didn't know any of the members, had no clue, didn't care. Was playing softball. So get done, play another game. Finally, they got tired of wanting to know who the ringers were. You had to be a member. So I showed them my discharge, 214. I became a life member in 1995. Went to the post meetings. They wanted to, that was in October. And then when nominations in March, oh, you want to be the commander? No. So I would purposely miss April's meeting.
The nomination meeting
and the vote. I missed it.
Right.
Well, you come to a point where a great comrade named Gil Castorena, he goes, it's time. I go, I'm ready. So nominated as junior and progressed.
Yeah.
Then I met a gentleman during this progression named Walt Hamilton. Walt was a past state commander. When being the state commander, you were, is it okay if I swear a little bit? Because he was the shit, pardon my language, out there in TV, radio land. He was it.
Yeah.
He was, and I went to the first convention in 95, and I'm sitting there, and they're saying, do, pass, set aside. I'm getting frustrated. I said, I've had enough. I'm going to go back to San Diego. Walt grabbed me, and he says, would you like to learn? And I said, okay. I didn't know Walt from this microphone. And we met, he explained it, and that's how our friendship took off. And we were traveling, his wife Sue and my wife Maria, we were traveling partners from that point on.
What was unique about his leadership style? What pulled you into him?
Well, first of all, he was one of the smartest people I've ever met. He didn't brag about it. He knew. He exuded respect, but he also put it out tenfold. I never heard him raise his voice in the 30 years I knew him. Never once. They would come to him when we had problems. They would only come to him to get it resolved. And he would drag me into it.
So you had a lot of experience kind of seeing the problems that they were having back then in the 90s.
I knew more about the VFW before I became post-junior vice. And I knew the internal politics of the post. So we set up a plan that we let them win what they wanted to. We would win what we wanted. When they didn't know it. And that's the type of stuff that I learned, is things like that. Seeing the department as it was a good department. It was fun.
Yeah.
We'd have 1,000 plus at a convention. The convention was 5 to 7 days then.
Wow. 5,000 to 7,000 people at convention.
1,000 plus people, 5 or 7 days.
I got you.
And nobody left.
Yeah.
There would be as many as 20 to 25 hospitality rooms.
Wow.
Not that the booze fest was what it was about.
Yeah, but what was bringing people to convention?
Camaraderie.
Well, comradeship.
Shaking their hand, pressing the flesh, dusting off your post stories, your district stories, and what National is doing.
Right.
Our ballots that we would get to vote on were 50, 60 pages.
Wow.
Because you'd put in for national resolutions and all of that. So there was an internal draw. If you were really concerned, you wanted these changes. This is how it went.
Was there also prestige on being a post commander? Was there a prestige to that?
Yeah, you carried a little bit of...
You earned that spot.
Well, and if you're at a post that has a canteen and you happen to be in there, tell him, tell her. That part of it, I don't agree with and never did. Because when you're at the canteen out of the VFW business, the bartender's in charge. Right. Not the customer.
Right.
And they had a hard time reacting to that. And I cared, but look at I'm not making these rules.
I think what I'm trying to drive is that I think there was a time in the VFW where you, as the post commander, there was some prestige in that.
Here's a case in point. The first district would go to a convention or a council. We'd be the last ones to walk in. There'd be 40, 50 of us in suit and tie, and all you would hear was, oh, shit, they're here. And we had several past state commanders. A couple of them ran for national. This district in San Diego County carried weight.
So did that become a threat to other areas?
Scared the living daylights out of them. But we weren't arrogant about it.
Right.
if you didn't like what we stood for, then get up and argue it.
Right.
Nobody, intimidation, I didn't see that. We didn't come in to intimidate.
Right.
We came in to let them know we're here and we mean business.
Okay.
And at that time, everybody wore suit and tie,
Right.
jacket and tie.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the ragtag polo shirt and jeans and flip-flops, tennis shoes as it is today.
Yeah.
And you've never seen me at a meeting without a suit on, have
Right.
you?
No. Yeah, you come with a suit every time.
Yeah. And I did that. I didn't dress in a suit as my post commander, but I did have a jacket and slacks. And every district meeting, suit and tie. Every time I went to a convention, I was on the floor for 30 years, but off of that, I was in suit and tie.
Yeah.
And I still believe that to this day is that if you want to announce us as an elite organization, then you should dress the part.
Mm.
Nothing against all these other veteran service groups. Not one.
Yeah.
But we are different.
Yeah.
So let's be different.
What's the difference? What differentiates us amongst all the other veteran organizations out there?
Combat service.
Combat service.
And it doesn't. I don't care if you were on a naval vessel like I was, or you were boots on the ground in country.
Yeah.
Look at. We raised our right hand.
Mm-hmm.
We swore to an oath to the Constitution. We were told we were going to be protected after we got out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we lived up to 95% of our billet.
Right.
Why can't 5% be done by the government?
So do you think?
Why do we have to struggle to get VA benefits?
Right, and I think really like going back to the original energy of why the VFW started in the first place. It was combat veterans from the Spanish-American War.
Yeah.
They were underserved. The government was not recognizing their plight. So what did we do? As warriors in that day, we stood by those and started helping each other heal.
Well, the other thing that turned the tide was when, I believe it was Woodrow Wilson, turned the United States military against citizens. And that set the tone that separated people that World War I veterans coming back. Now you're turning the guns against us, our own people? No, that didn't wash well. The greatest generation made what veteran service groups are today because of the volume of them. What they didn't allow is younger veterans in conflicts. The next one was the police action in Korea. My dad wasn't allowed to join right away.
Right.
Because the world, no, you didn't serve in a conflict.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
My dad was in Incheon, running into the damn China Sea.
Yeah.
Don't tell me this.
Right.
Don't tell him that. But he joined as a life member. Of all the VFW posts I visited, and I visited several hundred throughout the United States, I've yet to hear a war story of hand-to-hand combat, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
All I hear is, well, when we were in Austria, we were running down these women, this and that. That's the only stories you hear. But the reason they don't talk about it is they don't need to. But everybody knows how you got here.
Yeah.
And whatever actions and living actions that have taken place, there's a good chance maybe someone can help you. I don't see that today.
The opportunity is there. We have the opportunity. We have 6,000 of these VFW posts across the United States and across the world. And the opportunity is there. Do you believe in your opinion, that in the state of California, are we really doing our best to draw in that younger generation to actually bring them back home with comradeship.
Are you sure you want me to answer that question?
I would love for you to answer that question.
The VFW motto, no one does more. That is not even remotely true. We will not gain the individual that have come back from the Desert Storms and that, not all of them, because we don't do more.
Mm-hmm.
That's an ironic statement that is made, and they put their heart and soul behind it. We don't have a national membership program. We don't help veterans out. I don't care what's out on Facebook. You have 2 people out of the year, that helped. What about the tens of thousands that simply want to get in the VA as they served, whether they're eligible for the organization or not?
Mm.
They signed that contract. They were told they would be taken care of. Well, you got to get rated now. Why? It doesn't say that in my contract. Why can't we don't want money, those like myself.
Right.
We just want access.
Right.
Now we have to get money to get access.
Yeah.
How is that right?
Right.
I had to change my application. I had legal counsel, but I found out at the council meeting, which I attended with you in January, that the department was doing a great job, so I turned it over to them. Okay, they've taken my case on and that. I haven't heard back much, and I don't expect to. But I've tried. I don't want to go back to outside legal affairs on this, but this is where the younger people... We did the video game promotion and all of this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that's what the younger veteran want.
Mm.
I believe they just want a place where they're starting a family, they're young. They want to go to a place that they can be accepted,
Right.
have a inexpensive meal,
Mm-hmm.
meet some new people,
Mm-hmm.
possibly a lot older than them, but there's nothing wrong with that.
That's right.
And get treated with some respect and dignity. That's it. Just like you would do anybody else.
Yeah.
The organization from 2008 and 2009 stopped membership drives. National, they were more worried about programs and that, which are important. But how can you make a state commander All-American at 92% membership?
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
Right.
California had, at the max, we had 110,000 members. Today we're at 40,000. And they brag about it. We see these posts that become 100%, 102, 107. They're not getting new members.
Right.
They're using the reinstates to boost their percentage.
Right.
That's not membership.
Right. Yeah, and I think the opportunity, the way I look at it, as a post commander as well at our post, is how do I get them in the door? It's through a service, right? If I can provide a service that provides value, there's some value around the service that I provide. And for us, we're not a canteen, so we're very unique, and I'm not against canteens. I think there's opportunity to have a space that has, it's not centered around the canteen, but there's an opportunity to celebrate when we need to celebrate, because that brings people in, right? But it's the service beyond serving just alcohol that we can provide our warriors to make them feel comfortable and seen. You said they just want a comfortable place to be heard and understood, because we are warriors that have been through a very similar battle. And man, I just I'm not to brag, but we're at 115% right now. And we're backlogged on being able to put them in, just because they see value in what it is we're providing beyond just the alcohol or the coffee or whatever it is. It's a new home. It's that third place. And I just think that, I would love for us to explore this opportunity, because that's what we were founded on. And if we are bickering, if we are divided, where you talk about it, District 1, 40 in suits coming in with a certain amount of power, which means you have delegates, you have votes. But we have a lot of service members that live in San Diego. So there should be that, right? We should be able to bring that in. But then it almost at the same time divided us. So now the needs of the northern state part of the state are different than what our needs are down here.
I think some of that is correct. I believe that, let's say you and I take a ride up to Pine Bluff.
Mm-hmm.
They get the post there, probably has unofficially 15 members. And the average age of that member would be 68 to 84. Mm-hmm. Their interest is similar to ours. What have we become?
Right.
What is it that I can get? What can, what service? Again, there's where no one does more falls on its face.
Right.
Because the Department of California don't care about that comrade in Pine Bluff, nor does that department care about the comrade in El Centro, California. And that has to stop.
Well, I think the service that these guys, the remainder of them that are in this Pine Bluff, right, we need to provide the service of allowing their space to be a safe place to go back to. I mean, some of these guys are Vietnam, and to be honest with you, I wrote a letter to my dad about I just didn't see what internal struggles that he was going through, and neither did our country. So if these guys are having that quiet, safe space to maybe throw a couple back, wow. I surely don't want that to close down. But at the same time, if there's no younger generation veterans that are living in that area, well, eventually we can bolster them enough to keep them alive, right? So they have their place to go. Or if we can't maintain that, then we can shift them to another space. But the opportunity is like, well, if that is going to close, what are we going to do with the assets? Because they're all assets, most of them, to then create something new in a space where the younger generation is living.
Well, we don't know off the top of our head, our department, what's available in that area. Nobody at the Department of California can tell me, well, we got a handful of young vets. Really? Where?
Yeah,
we don't have that information, or we don't know how to get it. National does.
Well, and I think that's where we really need to start getting that information. Where do we need to put ourselves in a position, and what brand is that position to serve these younger guys and maintain what you're saying, this prestige, the prestige of being a VFW member, where there is prestige. I earned the right to be a VFW member, and I will then serve those behind me.
And I'm a current post commander, have been now since my wife passed. And I haven't done my job effectively over the last 2 years. One, I was in Rhode Island last year for 6 months, so I missed the convention. That's no excuse. I'm not making excuses.
Yeah.
But I got tired. I'm tired of shoveling the proverbial caca against the tide,
mm-hmm.
because we're worried about all state or all American. I'm trying to keep a post alive.
Alive, yes.
I could care less. I don't need recognition. And the average comrade doesn't want recognition.
No.
They want to know that they're being supported.
That's right.
Our department has over $18 million of liquid asset. What do we do with that money? We're going to tax the post more. No, you're not.
Right.
I ain't going to allow it. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And that message has to get sent
mm-hmm.
to them saying enough's enough.
Right.
during COVID, the department covered the delegate dues. John Lowe was able to set money aside to cover delegate dues. There's no reason they can't do it today. Not every year. Do something different. Pick a program, a monetary program.
Right.
Do something. You know, they're not doing it. We currently have a situation in our district here, a post that's not going to make All-American because some miscommunication on the VOD Patriots pin and Annette. And yet it somewhat got cleared up in Washington, D.C. However, when it got back here and it wasn't done, well, the state commander wasn't aware of all the situation. Wait a minute. I don't care what happened 3-4 years ago or what that's
Right.
A mistake was made. We tried to rectify it.
Right.
That post is not going to get credit. And I can tell you that when they come to our district meeting in June for elections, I'm going to catch an earful from this, and I don't have an answer. Do we think they're going to participate next year? Probably not.
Right.
Why? The program ended during our council. How could we even go back and here, we got to do this now? That program sets us apart. And yet we're failing the program because of electronic. This Scholar app is not working. End of story. And I don't care what the Department of California says, nor national. When posts do not know how to do that,
right?
Where's the upside?
Right.
There is none.
Yeah.
There was no problem the way we did it before.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with modernization and advancement and new technology. Okay, I'm electronically challenged.
Right.
But we can hold briefs. We can hold, hey, bring yourself over here. We're going to have a Teams or a Scholar app download.
Yeah.
But the issue is, I don't mean to say problems, the issue is that posts have gotten so disgruntled at the system, not the individual. Why am I doing it? And that has to change. But it's not going to happen overnight. We are going to have to bite the bullet, so to speak, on awards and all that if we get a cohesive district to say, okay, here, hey, Ed, you're the chairman. I'm going to be holding a seminar next month. Bring all your stuff.
Okay.
Every post. We'll pick a place to do it. I'll even provide a hamburger hot dog lunch if you want to come to my place. I don't care, our place. I'm tired of people saying, I.
Right.
I don't seem to see the letter I in veterans.
Right. Or team, right?
Yeah, I'm missing something here.
Yeah, right.
And I unfortunately just said it's our place.
That's right. That's right.
It's not Guy's place or
right.
Ed's.
It's ours, right? It's our home.
That verbiage has to change.
Yeah.
We have to stop talking to the Department of California when we have a concern that can be regulated,
by the district,
solved right here.
Right by the district, yes.
There are more than a few smart people.
Yes.
I'm not being one of them.
Right.
That can solve these issues.
That's right.
So someone has to be willing to quote unquote take the bullet and sacrifice award for progress.
Yeah. Right. I think we're focused too much on the awards and not the outcome of what it is that we're doing. Right.
I've got 30 covers. I don't need any more
covers.
Right.
Right.
I don't even like wearing the thing to begin with.
Right.
But we have a structure.
Yeah.
And now they allow ball caps.
Right.
I went through the roof. Why don't we allow tank tops, cutoffs, flip-flops?
Yeah, and I think there's a blend of, we are trying to bring that younger generation in, and there is some pushback on the covers, and, so I understand a little bit of the reasoning behind that without, again, we want to create an environment that is all inclusive as much as we can, like bringing them in, making them feel comfortable. And I think where I strategize this is that our prestigious meeting, of which if you're a leader, then you're expected to hold a higher part of what we're doing here at the VFW. There's prestige in that. And you show up to the meeting and we wear our covers and we do things by the rules. If, this is where we hold our meetings. But outside of that is all about community, right? Everything we are trying to do is bring the families in. Let's create authentic connections with one another. That's the service that we can provide. It doesn't cost a lot of money. We have the resources, we have the buildings. And I look at $18 million in assets. Well, why aren't we reinvesting that money into ourselves? Well, why don't we come up with a plan to actually allow a post to take a loan out from some of that money, get an escrow company, and now the minimum amount of interest that, according to bylaws, that you can make on some of that money, 4%. I surely would love to get a loan for 4% to put some money into the post, to revitalize it, to make it stronger, right? To bring in that younger generation. Why not?
Well, we have these other, I forgot the name of the term, areas where you have a grant. You fill out a grant.
Right.
We don't even have a grant form in the Department of California for a post to get a grant.
Yeah. You can apply for money through the nonprofit, the Guardians nonprofit now, for $3,000 if you're in a pickle, I guess. It's like, but that's not going to help you.
Well, and it's not. But getting back to the younger member, if a ball cap is going to bring in a younger member, we could hold meetings in Dodger Stadium. But if they hinge that because we can get a ball cap and they'll come in, they're not running in through the door.
What I'm saying is we're not bringing them in to be leaders right away. We're bringing them we are bringing them in to serve them. You have not built you need to earn your spot here. Our meetings are different than what we do as a community. They don't have to have a hat to go to an event that we have. We want to be out of uniform. We don't want to be in uniform. I'm speaking for the younger generation. They don't want to be in uniform again. But then here's the cross. If you see what we're doing behind the scenes in the people that are running this, that are making this happen, you're kind of like, you're going to want to gravitate towards that. And then part of that is whatever traditions that we want to carry on with the VFW, because there's prestige built back into being a commander or a junior vice or a senior vice. We need to bring the prestige back. I got handed the keys. We are tired. We can't do this anymore. Here are the keys.
Oh, I'm fully aware of your situation.
Right? Here are the keys. And I was like, I don't want to take the keys, but I felt an obligation to serve with all my heart, and to actually listen to the Vietnam guys that were running the show that handed the keys over, to actually serve them with all my heart and say, I see you, I got you. And okay, you know what? I'll take these keys and I vow to serve the warriors that I served with and to continue to serve the Vietnam guys with all my heart. How do we do that? We can't do it as if we're divided. I don't believe that if we're going to stay divided like we are in California, if we don't come one California when it comes to the VFW, we will die.
I no doubt about it. We're on the downhill slide here.
And it's up to the leaders, the leadership, to say, hey, we need to bring us together. And then I question, like when I talked to you that day, I'm bringing it back full circle. When I talked to you that day, I was convinced, right, based on your story and everything that you shared with me, that there is a need here. And the current leadership, and I'm not saying anything bad, I'm saying, are they prepared to bring us back together as one right now? Because I am.
Yeah, there's no agenda here for them. They get a lease a vehicle at no cost for a year. You know what? If that's the deer in the headlight look that they want, we're lost.
Right.
We need to take a step back, and it has to be announced at the first council meeting. Okay, go through your rigmarole and all of that, your agenda, and then I'd like everybody to stand pat for a few minutes. There's some off the record stuff we need to discuss.
Right.
This is one of them. To say, hey, we need help.
That's right.
Not the Department of California.
Right. All of us.
We all need help.
Every single post.
So I'd like you, when you district commanders go back,
Mm-hmm.
and I understand this Teams and all this other stuff that they do video. Keep in mind, a lot of them don't know how or really don't want to. But we need to hold district events, not even so much fundraisers, but let's have a gathering. Let's
Right.
find out what's really going on.
Mm-hmm.
Tell your district, tell your district leadership, I'm tired of this. Tell me how we can fix
Right.
this. And then let that district commander bring that up to the council. Because currently, 17 people on the council, none of them raise their hand. They
Mhm.
sit on them,
Mm-hmm.
and the meeting's over. Same with the conventions.
Right.
I'm saying that Friday at 1:15, the convention's over.
Right.
Okay, we're going to caucus for elections. Okay, the candidates get the list. Boom, boom, boom. We do that.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes Saturday morning. They get the tally. Comrade Commander, Ed McCoy, Post 2275. I'd like to make a motion that we have a roll call vote. All that work for that year has just went down the proverbial toilet.
Mm.
Why are we taking a vote away from a member, away from a post? Because we don't like so-and-so as a candidate. We know that a roll call vote will win because somebody's went in the register vote
Mm-hmm.
and saw what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
We've had 2 of them the past 2 years.
Right.
The state of California and the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the United States of America, cannot afford to have a third.
Mm.
If you think people going are less now, do this one. There's no camaraderie anymore at the department level when we come to these conventions.
Right.
The cost is somewhat prohibitive, but people don't have a problem paying for something if they see something in return.
That's right.
And we don't need to keep going to these faraway places, both north and south.
Right.
I understand. There's no reason that we're not meeting in Fresno anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There should be no reason that we're not meeting in Bakersfield anymore.
Right. Right.
You know, okay, we signed a contract with Holiday Inn. Well,
Mm-hmm.
we stayed at the Holiday Inn, at the Old Town Holiday Inn in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
There was no joy in staying there.
Right. Yeah.
You can't go to Old Sacramento because you go underneath that viaduct and the homeless aroma, and nothing against the homeless, but
Yeah.
and we're talking senior citizens, people older than me, maybe need a walker.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
It was scary for me and my wife in the daylight,
Yeah.
let alone
Right.
when there's no light.
Mm.
You know, they just want to go to a place where they have, where they can sit and relax.
Right.
And that's been taken away from them.
Yeah. So I'm going to close this out. I really, really appreciate this candid talk today. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for sharing your story. I want you to just tell me one, like the VFW, I believe is a great organization. And I know that the words that you said today weren't to discount how great this organization is. And I think that your frustration is that there is so much opportunity, right, out there for us.
Yes.
And so just end this on a positive. How has the VFW helped you where you are today?
I was in a depression for over 40 years.
Mm.
And my daily routine would be I come home from work, maybe have a adult beverage, go to the bedroom, watch TV. My daughter or wife would bring me food. I'd put the plate back, go to bed.
Mm.
This took me out of my shell.
Mm.
Public speaking. If anybody says that they enjoy it or it's easy, they're not telling you the truth.
Yeah.
And it is not, it is one of the most difficult things in life. Once you learn how to talk in public, the next most difficult thing is ending it.
Right.
And I was able to learn that. The best friends I've ever had came from the organization.
Yeah.
Not because of the organization,
Right.
because who they are.
Right. Mm.
And for that, I'm indebted.
Mm. Well,
Hence my staying in the organization and
yes.
being a leader at my post.
Yes. Well, thank you for your service to this great VFW. Thank you for your story. And I, too, right, am fueled with purpose like you, right, to serve those that are behind me and to give a safe place for them to come home, whether it's a canteen or whatever it is. I do not want to close canteens down. That's what they're saying. I don't want to close canteens down. I think they are a need to bring certain individuals in. And so my goal, right, in partnering with people like you and with your wisdom is to bring us back together as one. So thank you.
Thank you. And the canteen has nothing to do, we didn't discuss it.
No.
That's the great part of understanding our
It's not the VFW. No. So,
my apologies for cutting you off.
You're good. You're good.
I just am passionate. We don't need to bring things the way it was.
That's right.
We need to expand to suit. And we have not done that.
Yes. Beautiful. Beautifully said.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.